Welcome back to the deep dive. Life is inevitably going to throw challenges at you, unexpected crises, high-stakes decisions, moments that just feel completely overwhelming.
They always do.
And the defining difference, really, between those who navigate that storm and those who get, well, swallowed by it, it
Mhm.
isn't luck. It's this singular, trainable skill of staying calm.
That is absolutely right. We've been immersed in sources from, well, everywhere. Elite military guides, cognitive neuroscience, and they all point to the same thing. A calm mind is a strong mind
Why, though? What's the core reason?
because it maintains access to all the resources that the panic mind just instantly loses.
And that's our mission today in this deep dive. We want to give you the practical tools that these peak performers use because composure isn't a personality trait, is it? It's a discipline.
It is. And the problem we're up against is it's physiological.
Hmm.
When you're under pressure, your brain just registers a threat. It triggers the amygdala, floods your system with
Your
cortisol,
survival brain?
the survival brain.
Yeah.
And it basically bypasses the logical part, your prefrontal cortex. So you stop thinking and you start, well, just reacting,
Hmm.
making choices from a place of fear and doubt.
So you're operating on instinct instead of intention.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's unpack that foundational choice you just mentioned. Reacting versus responding. This seems to be where it all starts.
It's everything. When you're reacting, you're basically letting the outside world control you. The stock market crashes, a client yells, whatever it is, that external chaos dictates your internal state.
And your actions follow, so you snap at someone or you freeze.
Precisely. Your emotions, fear, anxiety, they're the pilot. But responding, that's when you take back control.
It's the pause.
It's the pause. That's the perfect word for it. It's the conscious delay between the thing that happens and what you do about it. You choose how you show up with clarity, with purpose.
Even when everything around you is falling apart.
We see this in all the high-stakes examples, right?
Mm.
Think of Michael Jordan in a championship moment. He didn't panic. He was focused. He executed. He controlled his mind.
And that skill applies to all of us. That tough conversation, the big presentation, anyone can react, not everyone can respond.
Right. But here's the thing, and I found this interesting in the psychology papers we looked at.
Okay.
Doesn't this constant pressure to always be calm, to always respond, doesn't that lead to a kind of cognitive overload? If you're always suppressing that fight or flight energy, don't you risk, crashing even harder later?
That is a fantastic point, and it's a crucial distinction. We're not talking about emotional suppression.
Oh.
It's emotional regulation. The goal isn't to feel nothing. You're going to feel the stress. The goal is to channel that energy toward execution instead of letting it paralyze you. The skill is being effective when it matters most.
So it's not about being unfeeling, it's about being effective.
Exactly. Okay, so if the goal is to create that critical pause, how do we physically do it? We need an anchor, right? Something simple.
And that anchor is your breath. It's almost deceptively simple, but the science is solid.
Yeah.
The way you breathe directly influences your nervous system.
So when you're stressed, you breathe fast and shallow, and that tells your brain, hey, we're in danger.
It confirms the threat. It's a feedback loop. So if you want to break that loop, you have to manually override it. You have to send a safety signal back to the brain.
And intentional breathing is the fastest way to do that.
It is. You're essentially stimulating the vagus nerve. This nerve runs from your brainstem down to your abdomen, and it regulates your heart rate, your mood, basically your whole stress response. Slow, deep breathing shifts you out of that fight or flight mode.
And the technique that kept coming up over and over again, from Navy SEALs to surgeons, is box breathing.
Yes, the 4x4x4x4. It's so powerful because it's predictable. It's a reliable reset. Should we walk through it?
Let's do it.
Okay, so you can do this anywhere. You inhale through your nose for a count of 4 seconds.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Then you hold the breath at the top for 4 seconds.
Okay.
And this is important. That hold lets a little CO2 build up, which actually signals safety to your brain. Then you exhale slowly through your mouth for 4 seconds.
Emptying the lungs completely.
All the way out. And then you hold at the bottom empty for a final 4 seconds before you start again.
So 4 seconds for each side of the box. And those holds, they force you into the present moment, don't they?
They do. You can't be worrying about the future or the past when you're counting to 4. Doing that just 3 to 5 times, a minute of your time can completely change your physiological state.
And that moves your decision-making from that place of fear back to a place of clarity.
Once you have that physical control, the next layer is cognitive. It's reframing.
Shifting your mindset.
Exactly. It's about how you see the situation. A calm mind doesn't see a paralyzing problem. It sees a surmountable challenge.
That's a really important distinction, isn't it? Because a problem feels like a wall.
Yeah.
It feels impossible. It keeps you stuck,
It does. It makes you ask that victim question. Why is this happening to me?
which is completely powerless.
Utterly. But a challenge. A challenge is framed as a test. It's an opportunity to rise to the occasion. It implies that there is a solution and that you can find it.
So you have to change the question you ask yourself. You stop asking, why me?
And you start asking, what can I learn from this? Or even more practically, what is one thing I can do right now to move forward?
That shift changes the entire game. And the best example of this, I mean, it has to be Thomas Edison and the light bulb, right?
Oh, it's a perfect case study in this kind of reframing. Think about it. The rumor is he failed 10,000 times to find the right filament.
10,000. I mean, the psychological weight of that, it's unimaginable if you see each one as a failure.
Exactly. But he didn't. When a reporter asked him about it, he didn't see defeat. He saw data.
What did he say?
He said, I have not failed 10,000 times. I have successfully found 10,000 ways that will not work.
Wow.
His mindset turned every setback into a necessary step forward. It turned chaos into a checklist.
Which brings us to a really critical point that all the sources seem to agree on. You can't just expect to be confident in a crisis if you haven't trained for it when things are easy.
You can't. Calmness isn't a switch you flip. It's a mental muscle.
Yeah.
You have to build it with discipline.
It reminds me of that Muhammad Ali quote, "The fight is won or lost far away from witnesses, long before I dance under those lights."
That's it, exactly. Resilience isn't something you conjure up in the moment. It's what you've built in the quiet hours. When the storm hits, all you have is your baseline preparation.
So what does that training look like? The sources outlined 4 key tools for building that daily resilience.
The first, and this is foundational, is meditation. And this isn't about emptying your mind. It's about becoming aware of your thoughts and emotions without immediately reacting to them.
So it's the ultimate training for that critical pause we talked about.
It is. The second is visualization, mental rehearsal. This is huge for elite athletes.
Yeah.
You literally picture yourself navigating a challenge calmly.
You see yourself using that box breathing technique before a big meeting?
Exactly. And your brain doesn't really know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. You're building the neural pathways for success before you even get there.
Okay, what's third?
Third is reading. This sounds a bit passive, but it's really active mental training. Reading complex material, biographies. It expands your knowledge and sharpens your critical thinking. It gives you more reference points.
So when something unexpected happens, you have a bigger mental toolkit to draw from.
You do. And finally, number 4 is exercise. This one seems obvious, but it's so important. When you train your body to push through discomfort.
Like lifting that last rep or holding a tough yoga pose.
Right. You're fundamentally training your mind to tolerate the urge to quit. And that skill is completely transferable to getting through a tough negotiation or a long project. You're proving to yourself that you can handle discomfort.
Okay, so we've covered the internal work. But what about the external? Your environment has to play a huge role in this.
It's massive and often overlooked. You really can't master your internal state if your external world is constantly contaminating it. We become like the people we spend the most time with.
It's that idea of emotional contagion.
Yeah.
You just absorb the energy around you. There was a great analogy in one of the sources we looked at.
The cigarette smoke one.
Yeah, that one. If you're in a room full of cigarette smoke, even if you're not the one smoking, you're still breathing it in.
And it's the same with negativity, with panic, with complaining. If you're surrounded by people stuck in that victim narrative, it will seep into your own thinking. It erodes your ability to stay solutions-focused.
So you have to be intentional. You have to actively curate your social environment.
You need to be ruthless about it. You need to seek out people who challenge you, who uplift you, who focus on what's possible, not on making excuses.
And it forces you to look in the mirror, too. You have to ask yourself, what kind of energy am I bringing to the table?
Am I adding to the noise, or am I bringing calm, analytical solutions? It's about protecting your mental space, but also about being a positive force in other people's.
So to bring it all together, storms are going to happen. That's a non-negotiable part of life. But they don't last forever.
Your job isn't to prevent them. It's to stand firm within them. The unshakable person is the one who has prepared their mind.
When you control your breath, you control your mind. When you control your mind, you control your actions.
And your actions, well, they control your destiny.
We talked a lot about that Edison mindset, turning what feels like defeat into useful data, into something that helps you move forward.
So let's leave you with a final thought on that.
Yeah.
Think about the toughest challenge you overcame recently, the one that really stretched you, maybe even left you feeling a bit broken.
Okay.
Now, using that analytical perspective, ask yourself this. What specific, necessary skill did that single moment forge in you? A skill you absolutely needed for your next goal, that you couldn't possibly have learned any other way. That's the real value of mastering pressure.